Election coverage on KSLA News 12 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Destiny Patterson. It's election night, so let's get you caught up with the results. Throughout the day, voters made their choices known on races and propositions across Louisiana. And for people in our area, that meant deciding the fate of a $242 million bond proposal for Shreveport and deciding who will represent South Bossier City on the city council. We're live tonight with team coverage on both ballot issues. Jade Myers will be live with the winner of tonight's Bossier City Council race, while Stacey Cameron has reaction on the bond issue. First, let's see how you voted on Shreveport's 5 bond proposals. Proposition 1 was for public safety, funding various police and fire department projects. It looks like that one passed with 59%. Proposition 2, funding would upgrade technology and communications for the city. This one did not pass, with an overwhelming 60% of you voted no. Proposition 3 would pay for improvements to the city's water, sewer, and drainage systems. That one also, you guys voted no, 54% of you there. Proposition 4 looks to improve the city's streets and bridges. That one also another no. Finally, Proposition 5 goes towards improvements to the Shreveport's parks and recreation centers, and looks like another no for that one as well. So KSLA News 12 Stacey Cameron, he's live at Government Plaza with reaction to tonight's results. Stacey, what can you tell us?
It's a big night for Shreveport Fire and Shreveport Police. The bond proposal passing at a huge margin. As you mentioned just a moment ago, 59% of the voters in Shreveport give a thumbs up to Proposition 1. That's $70.65 million for new fire stations, police station, and equipment. You will remember it was just a couple of years ago where a similar bond proposal, all connected, included public safety, included water and sewage, included streets, all failed. This one, however, tonight carries the day. Police and fire needing those stations. They've been arguing for them for several years now. So a big win tonight for the Shreveport Fire Department, the men and women who serve on the fire department, and the men and women in blue for the police department. Now, Mayor Adrian Perkins spoke with us just a while ago. He said while he was disappointed to see Propositions 2, 3, 4, and 5 fail at a very large margin, he was excited to see Proposition 1 pass and said that should help build morale in our police and fire departments. Let's listen to the mayor.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, after the 2019 bond result, a lot of our first responders felt a bit dejected by it, and then the pandemic hit, and then they were thrust in the middle of a pandemic. So tonight is going to go very, very far with them, knowing that the citizens of Shreveport is behind them 100%, knowing that they have the will to get them the appropriate facilities, appropriate equipment is going to go a long way for not just them getting those things, but for the morale as well.
Now, the mayor did point out that those monies cannot be spent until 2023, but in the meantime, they will begin to start drawing up proposals for building those buildings, looking into contracts, and also procuring land to build those new fire and police stations. And just a note, just a little more than 15,400 people cast votes tonight, a very low turnout, but a big night once again for the Shreveport Fire and Police Departments. Reporting live in downtown Shreveport, Stacey Cameron, KSLA News 12.
And across the river, people living in South Bossier City had decided on a new council representative today, and that runoff was between Michael Lombardino and Brian Hammonds. In tonight's results, it looks like Brian Hammonds takes that one, 55%, and he takes that one. So we're going to send it out to our to KSLA News 12's Jade Myers as she continues our election night team coverage. She's with Brian Hammonds, the winner of tonight's council race. Jade.
Destiny, Bossier City voters decided that Brian Hammonds will serve as their District 1 councilman. I'm joined here right now with Mr. Hammonds. First, can you tell me how you feel?
I'm excited. It's been a long campaign, 6 months. We had the hurricane, which extended it, and then we had a runoff. But I'm just feeling a lot of emotions tonight. I'm very, very excited.
I had a conversation with you regarding the changes you'd like to see in South Bossier. One of them is property standards. Why?
That is the main thing that we have down here. We have property, and you have to maintain your property to keep that value up. And that's a big job of property standards. They may need some help. They're a little bit, the manpower is not where it should be in property standards. In my perspective, I think they need some help. It's a big job.
What can the residents that you will serve expect from you as a council, as a District 1 councilman?
The first thing they can expect is transparency. You know, that we're there to work for the citizens, the ones that elected us. They need to know everything that is going on in that council. And, you know, that's one of the big deals down here. People, they don't know what's going on. Not a lot of stuff is discussed. It's get up there, make a lot of votes. But, you know, I think I get in there and I start working with the other council members, and I think we can make some changes.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you so
Hammonds.
much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Brian Hammonds has won the District 1 council seat for Bossier City. I'll send it back to you, Destiny.
Thanks, Jade. We're going to take another look at some of the propositions that were on the ballot across Northwest Louisiana. Minden's Fire District had a 2 mills property tax proposition on the ballot. That one was approved. 62% of you voted in favor of that one. 5 alcohol propositions were put before voters in plain dealing, and tonight voters in the town said yes to all 5 alcohol propositions. So that one passed. In DeSoto Parish, the town of Logansport also had 5 alcohol proposals as well for its residents to vote on, and tonight they also approve all 5 of those proposals. Also in DeSoto Parish, School District number 3 was asking its voters to approve an $8.5 million bond proposal. That one passed as well. 67% of you voted in favor of that one. There were several other ballot issues across our parishes. For a look at all of the election results from tonight, just go to our KSLA News 12 app. Texas gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke made several stops in East Texas this weekend, including Marshall and Texarkana. Early polls say the current governor, Greg Abbott, is leading the race, but that election is not until next November.
Well, good evening, everyone. Chilly weather returned to the Arklatex today, and we do have a cold night expected. Freeze warnings through tomorrow morning for some places like Shreveport, Bossier, that have not yet seen 32 degrees. Caddo, Bossier Parish, as well as DeSoto, Red River Parish, and counties here in East Texas south of I-20. Make sure you're taking those cold weather precautions, particularly for the plants, before you go to bed tonight. Otherwise, our story focuses on yet another warm-up. The cold will be short-lived. By Tuesday, 3 o'clock, a lot of the Arklatex will be back in the 70s. I'll have a first alert look at that warm weather returning next week on the way in your forecast in just a few minutes. Right now, we are actually already at freezing here. DeQueen, Idabel, Mount Pleasant, 37 Texarkana. Shreveport's down to 40 degrees. Southern parts of the Arklatex, slightly higher temperatures, but not by much, running in the low to mid 40s, and we will all be dropping into the 30s overnight tonight. Some of you in the north will be in the upper 20s, right around the freezing mark, maybe even some patchy light frost, but clear skies will be back. And that means sunshine returns for the end of the weekend. We will talk more about that Sunday forecast on the way in just a few minutes.
Deadly storms hit 6 states, causing what's likely to be the deadliest American weather disaster in years. The path of destruction stretches across parts of Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Tennessee, Illinois, and especially Kentucky. Many dozens are feared dead. CBS News' David Begnan reports from Mayfield, Kentucky.
The level of devastation is unlike anything I have ever seen.
That is Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear talking about the tornado that was on the ground for more than 200 miles. It wiped out entire communities. This is downtown Mayfield, Kentucky, in the southwestern part of the state. Rubble. Nearby at a candle factory, more than 100 people were working when the tornado hit. It's flattened. Kiana Parsons Perez was trapped under the debris there, and she was streaming live on Facebook.
This is the water fountain. It's on me, along with the wall.
She was one of 40 people rescued from there.
We had to, at times, crawl over casualties to get to live victims.
By daylight, the search intensified. Excavators were brought in to dig through the wreckage. Among the missing is the mother of Paige Tingle's fiancé.
I just want her safe. I want her alive, and I want her home.
To Monette, Arkansas now. More destruction because of another tornado. This nursing home was torn apart. Storms left more than a 140-mile path of destruction across the state of Tennessee. Homes were leveled. Back here in Kentucky, search and rescue efforts continue right now. A woman who worked inside of that candle factory came up to us this evening and told us what happened as the tornado bared down on the building and it started to collapse. She used the light on her iPhone and was crawling over the bodies of her co-workers who had died as she saw a hole, went through it, and was able to get away to safety. One of 40 people rescued from inside that factory. David Begum, CBS News, downtown Mayfield, Kentucky.
The governor of Illinois says at least 6 people died in an Amazon warehouse that partially collapsed during that storm. The search for missing workers continues. New at 6, TQ Harrison, the oldest brother of the Kansas City Chiefs cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, was killed in Minden last night. According to Minden police, one woman is in custody and was charged with second-degree murder. We've reached out to the police chief for more information on this incident, and as we learn more, we'll alert you on our KSLA News 12 app. Here in Shreveport, a man who was shot in his car early this morning has died. Police say they found him with a gunshot wound to the chest in the Highland neighborhood. They also say they received calls about shots being fired around the 1800 block of Highland Avenue early this morning. Police currently do not have a suspect and are still investigating. A man is in critical condition after a standoff with Bowie County deputies. Deputies say Mark Robert Peters fired one shot from inside the home in Sims, Texas, and refused to come out. After trying to negotiate with Peters for several hours, he eventually walked through the front yard and turned toward deputies with his weapons. That's when a deputy fired a single shot and struck Peters. Peters is now at a Tyler hospital in critical condition.